Okay, I wonder, how can you tell that an avoidant partner does love someone? Because I'm an analysis anxious, and I found that when I'm with a secure or anxious partner, I act like an avoidant and feel not in love. Then I cut those relationships really fast. I know that this is a common question that we anxious do, so just to reassure, we've been loved, but maybe it would help a little bit to discern that. So the question is, I wonder, how can you tell that an avoidant partner does love someone? Well, I mean, there's lots of ways. I would imagine that it's unique to every human being, right? And there's a book called The Five Love Languages you might enjoy reading. It talks about how not just avoidant people, but everyone, that we all have a different way of showing and expressing how we love each other, right? So I don't recall all the 5 ways off the top of my head, but some of us give gifts, some of us offer words, some of us through acts of kindness, some of us through physical affection, things like that. I also have read some books by John Gray who talks about, he's the guy who wrote Women Are From Mars, Men Are From Venus, and he talks about how sometimes between men and women, there's a miscommunication around what love means to them. So there's another book called Why Women Want Love and Men Want Sex, or something like that. And basically it just says that men tend to view love as more of a commitment, like an obligatory kind of commitment. Like it's sort of like love is their job and they're going to do their job well. Whereas for women, love is a much more romantic notion. It's about emotional connectedness and the more, I don't know, aesthetic aspects of life. So for example, a woman might say, why don't you love me? Why don't you ever say it? And the partner might say, of course I love you. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. That's my job, right? So why do you think I'm doing this thing for you? So, this idea of being, oh, someone's tossing something outside my door. This idea of something being, action oriented versus being in this place of receptivity and sort of emotional connectedness. So we just have different languages for that. I don't think that you could make a blanket statement about how someone expresses their love to you, regardless of their attachment style. There are some things that that you could probably pick up on. Sometimes avoidant partners will have a way of affectively, it's called affect, but they'll have a way of physically, non-verbally communicating the way they feel. And I think that's where a lot of open hearts get confused, because they're very apt at picking up on those cues. So they'll pick up that the Rolling Stone does have a feeling of affection for them, or does really care about them, but then what they say usually contradicts whatever they're feeling. So then the open heart feels confused, because they're like, well, the truth of this person's feelings, I can tell they're in love with me. I can tell they want to be with me. I can tell this, I can tell that, but they don't say it, or they don't follow up on it, or they seem to refuse to acknowledge it. And so in that case, sometimes they get wrapped up in what they think is the truth of someone's feelings, but the truth is that discrepancy. Okay. The truth, you can't just look at what you're receiving in that way and then ignore what you're receiving on the other end, which is something that's in contradiction, right? So the truth is actually the contradiction. Okay. The truth is that they are conflicted. Okay. So you can't take it upon yourself to try to manipulate the situation so that the truth that you want to be in charge is the thing that comes out, right? You have to really take a look at what is actually being demonstrated to you. And in a case like that, it's usually the contradiction.